guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I did this full drugstore beat. This is my full coverage acne foundation routine. This is how I cover up my active breakouts and my hyperpigmentation that I do have going on my skin at the moment. My skin usually is the worst during the summer, so this is currently how I do my makeup in the summer. But fall through spring, my skin is on point. I think it's all the sweat and the clogged pores that makes my skin really bad during the summer, but it doesn't bother me anymore. I'm so used to it now. The key to this is to do as much prepping as possible underneath, which is the color correcting and the setting powder you apply before you apply your foundation, to avoid that cakey foundation powdery look that will make your breakout stand out even more. But I'm going to explain all that in the video, so if you want to see how I got this glowy makeup routine, then please keep on watching. So today I'm going to be showing you how it is I cover up my discoloration, my active breakouts, and all that good stuff. The only reason you can't see them from right here is because of my wonderful light. So first thing you're gonna need to do is prime. My favorite, hands down favorite drugstore primer for oily skin, the True Complexion by Black Radiance. This is $7. I get mine off of Amazon because I can't find these in stores anywhere. But this is hands down my favorite primer for oily skin. I literally put this everywhere. If you want to go more high-end, my favorite high-end primer is the Becca Oil Controlling Primer. Boy, that primer is the bomb diggity. Like, that paired my Estee Lauder foundation. What oils, girl. But this primer, I focus it mostly on my T-zone, and then whatever is left, I just disperse it everywhere else. The whole point of this cover up your breakouts, to cover up your discoloration, is to do the most prepping before you go in with your foundation. After the primer, we are going to color correct. So here I have two options. I have the Anastasia Deep Contour Kit, this shade right here, it's called Coral, or I could use my LA Girl Pro Concealer in orange. This is a more true orange. It's more richer, it's more darker than this one in here. This is more of a corally color, just like its name. It's just a tint too light, but I really like that if I'm just gonna go in with a full coverage foundation anyways. What you're gonna need to do is focus this obviously where you have discoloration, but also you're gonna focus it where you currently have your breakouts. So I'm going to focus this around my mouth, under my eyes, and just a smidge on my cheeks. The whole point of color correcting is, one, when you do go apply your concealer under your eye or your foundation all over your face, you don't look ashy. Your foundation doesn't come off ashy because the gray mix in with your foundation, especially if you have yellow undertones, it's going to be real ashy. Oh, I'm just blending this in with my M439 brush from Morphe. And just on the sides of my forehead, because I don't know, for some odd reason, I guess I have a natural contour there. It's darker on the sides and then it's like hella light in the middle. That's just me. And then just a little bit on my cheeks. I don't have many current breakouts on my cheeks. I just have discoloration. Blending that out with the same brush. And for under my eyes, I'm going to be blending out with my finger. If you feel like you need more orange concealer, go for it. The more discoloration and hyperpigmentation you cover up before you put a foundation on, the better. But make sure to be really careful, because sometimes this orange concealer has a tendency to mix in with your foundation and alter the color just a tiny bit. Next, we are gonna go in with my Airspun powder. Now, that whole trend of powdering your face before you put on your foundation, it's a go. It's approved by me personally. I have tested this out, and this is to my oily skin girls. If you are dry, please skip this step. But if you are oily, like your friend here, you are going to need to do this. So I'm going to focus this on my nose, forehead, a little bit on my chin, and especially around my mouth where I crease. And then I'm just going to lightly place it on my cheeks and on my forehead. This step is to help you avoid baking when you do apply your concealer and apply all your liquids, instead of baking, you've already baked. And then lightly setting everywhere else. Like I've mentioned before, this step is extremely crucial for my oily skin girls. I focused it on my T-zone, forehead, and around my mouth. This is where I crease a lot around my mouth, and my nose and my forehead are the most oily spots on my face. That's where it tends to get the most oily throughout the day. And then I just put a little bit on my cheeks and on my forehead, just so I won't have to apply as much foundation. And it's also to set the orange concealer that I applied beforehand, so it won't transfer when I'm applying my foundation. It's up to you how long you want to leave this. If you want to leave it for 5 minutes, 30 seconds, it's all up to you. I should leave it on for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I just quickly blend it into my skin, and I make sure to avoid under my eyes. This tip will keep you matte the longest, and it does not make your foundation look cakey whatsoever. Next, this part is so crucial, guys. Take your favorite foundation, favorite foundation, and do half the pumps that you usually use. I usually use 2 pumps of my Revlon, so today I'm going to use 1. The whole point of applying the littlest amount of foundation is so that your face won't be caked up. I have a tendency to cake on my foundation and my concealer when I'm breaking out, but I found that that makes it look even worse. So the whole point of this is to use as little as possible, and you can also mix this with your moisturizer, but I don't like doing that because it shears it out too much and it removes the coverage. So just use half the pumps, half the amount of pumps you usually use. I'm gonna blend it in with my finger, and then I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender, absorb all of the excess product. And usually I don't apply much to my nose because I do not want it to be caked up. I'll just go over it with whatever is on my beauty blender. So that's all gone, taking whatever's left, and I'm just gonna use the butt of my beauty blender to blend this in. The good thing about this is you can use the smallest amount of foundation and you're good to go because you've already color corrected and you've already set your skin for that oil control. So girl, you are good. And I don't apply foundation under my eyes because there's no point. I'm gonna go in with some concealer, and whatever is on my beauty blender, I just go over my nose. As you can see, it covered up everything nicely, and that was just 1 pump. Gotta have your morning start. So next, we're going to need a concealer that is your shade, not your highlighting shade, not your contouring shade, not your favorite concealer shade. A concealer that is your skin tone, yours. Okay, this that matches your foundation, not that matches under your eyes, not that matches your chest, your face. Okay, got it? Good. So I'm taking my LA Girl Pro Concealer in Chestnut, and I am going to use this to go around my active breakouts. Now, this is a tip I learned from Desi Perkins. In Desi's video, she said apply the concealer right on top of your breakout and then blend it in around the edges. But I have a cluster of breakouts, so I'm just going to apply it right on top. And then I'm going to use my pinky finger to blend it all out. And yes, I'm applying it to every single breakout. This is my concealer shade. It just has more of a yellowish undertone, and my concealer has more of a neutral undertone. So I'm going to take my pinky. I'm not even going to blend it out all the way. If you have scattered breakouts like this one, I can just use my blending brush that looks like this, and I will just blend around the edges, avoiding the center of the pimple. But ones like this, where they're close together, I don't have that luxury. So just blending out edges to the best of my ability, avoiding the center of the breakout. We're gonna let that sit, and we're gonna let that dry up a little bit while we do our under eye and all that good stuff. I'm using my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the color Toffee. This is my under eye highlight. This is what we're not gonna use on our breakouts, okay? If you have a breakout in the spots that you highlight, I have one right here, and then I have a current one right there. Just go ahead and highlight as usual. I will show you how to make that less noticeable in just a second. Blending that out with the tip of your beauty blender. Also make sure your beauty blender doesn't touch the parts you've concealed on your cheeks. Now that our highlighter is applied, we are going to take your setting powder. Now, I have two options. I have my Laura Mercier medium deep powder, or I have my powder foundation, the Fit Me in 360 Mocha. It looks like this. This one is extremely full coverage, but it's up to you if you want to use it. I personally don't like using this because I get a bit heavy-handed and it makes my breakouts pop out even more, so we're gonna avoid that. So I'm gonna use my Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm just going to tap it off, and the lid it comes with, and I'm just going to lightly set everywhere, avoiding my under eye. The key to this is to lightly set and not to press your powder in. That's why we apply the translucent powder beforehand, to control your oil, so you can avoid kicking it up with your powder. And I make sure I am dusting it all off. If you go in and bake around the areas you have breakouts, especially if it's around where you highlight or your smile lines where you crease, that's when your breakouts start to become extremely noticeable. Next, we are going to do our usual contouring, blush, and then highlight, but we are not going to set underneath our eyes just yet. For the people who need to set immediately after they apply the concealer underneath their highlight, this is what you're going to need to do. So I'm going to take in my Sacha buttercup using my Real Technique sponge, and I'm going to need you to scrape off the excess powder and then blow on it. You need the littlest amount of powder underneath your eyes. To set, because if you heavily set around underneath your eyes and you didn't heavily set your face, it's gonna look off. You're just gonna let that sit for as long as you need it to. I don't need it for that long, so I'm just gonna dust it off. And this is the part where I'm very hard on my face, if you can say, because I don't want any traces of powder or any of that nonsense on my face, because after a while it starts to set in your skin and then it starts to look cakey, and then you're gonna look obvious. So to contour, I'm taking my Morphe 9BZ palette and my Morphe in 527, taking the darkest color, which is this one right here. I'm gonna need you to pack your brush, because we are gonna go in very gently, especially if you have a breakout in that area. You will need to pack your brush and then use the lightest of hands to contour. See that? I'm barely touching my face. And then on your forehead, I really don't care about my forehead, because usually I have, if you are going to apply blush, same concept with the contour, lightest of hands, but pack your brush with product. If you feel it's too much, just tap it off and use the lightest of hands once again. You're still gonna get the same color payoff, but this is to avoid you being extremely vigorous or hard on your face. To cover up your breakout that you currently have where you highlight, whether it's your cream highlighter or your powder highlighter, just take the brush you used to apply your concealer and just go over it really gently, and that's gonna mask that pimple. Highlighting time, which is, this is hands down my favorite part. Taking my M501 and my Betty Luminizer, I'm just going to use this to highlight all over my face. If you have a breakout or you highlight, just go over it. We are going to use a Q-tip to take that highlighter off that part of your face. And I put some on my chin, wherever I'm not breaking out on my chin, and a little bit in the middle of my forehead and above the brows. And just a tiny bit underneath my brows as well. If you have a breakout where you highlighted, mine is right there. Just take a clean Q-tip, use some water or your spit. I use my spit because personally it's my face. And I just go over and remove that highlight from my face. And take my finger and blend around the edges. If you're an oily girl and you don't think your face is going to stay matte all day, use your favorite oil controlling primer and apply it 3 times. So, and make sure to focus where it is you have your current active breakout. Mine is right here and right here in the second round. So instead of going all over your face, just spread where you have your breakout, other side, and your forehead. This is currently dry. To demonstrate, cover my mouth, and I bring it closer than I normally would. And that is going to make the powder and the concealer and all that stuff that you've applied on top of your breakouts. It's going to let that sink into the face, and it's not going to be as noticeable. And that's it, you guys. Hope I explained everything to you in detail enough. If you guys do have any questions, leave them in the description box. I'm just gonna go braid this hair down and put on a hat and go on about my day. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please don't forget to comment and like. If you love the makeup and all things curly, please subscribe and stay tuned for my next video. Bye, guys.